In a world where fact and fiction intertwine, where imagination holds the reins, there lies a creature, a legend that has fired up our dreams and ignited our deepest fears. Welcome to Terra Incognita, where today we'll plunge into the fascinating realm of dragons. From their imposing presence in ancient tales to their symbolic importance in numerous cultures, dragons hold us in their thrall. Why has this mythical creature bewitched humanity throughout the ages? And what can it tell us about our ancestors, our culture, and ourselves? Join us as we delve deep into the dragon's den, unearthing secrets and exploring mysteries that continue to captivate us to this day. Buckle up, brace yourself for a journey like no other into the heart of the dragon's tale. Every culture, every civilization seems to harbor a chapter in their mythology dedicated to these mythical beasts, with each tale revealing a unique interpretation of the dragon, shaped by the cultural, historical, and geographical context of the society that crafted it. The ubiquity of dragon-like creatures in these disparate cultures hints at a shared narrative, a universal theme transcending geographical boundaries. Let's take a flight through the world, exploring the varied depictions of these mythical creatures. In the East, dragons often symbolize auspicious powers, bearing stark contrast to their Western counterparts. Chinese dragons, or long, are revered as divine, benevolent creatures, often associated with water, rainfall, and floods. They are believed to have dominion over bodies of water and are credited with the ability to shapeshift and control the weather. Intriguingly, the Chinese dragon, unlike the Western version, is typically wingless yet capable of flight, its body an intricate amalgamation of various animals. Similarly, in Japanese culture, dragons, or ryu, are generally considered to be water deities associated with rainfall and bodies of water, much like their Chinese counterparts. Dragons also hold a significant place in the mythology and folklore of Korea and Vietnam, further emphasizing their cultural importance in the East. Contrastingly, European dragons, stemming from Greek and Middle Eastern mythologies, are often portrayed as malevolent creatures, synonymous with chaos and destruction. They are typically depicted as winged, four-legged beasts, breathing fire and inciting fear. These dragons were often central figures in tales of heroic quests, slain by knights protecting their kingdoms. St. George, the dragon slayer, is one such legend, known far and wide. The Mayans and Aztecs, isolated by the vast Atlantic Ocean, also revered their dragon-like beings. Known as Quetzalcoatl or Kukulkan, their plumed serpent was a vital god in their pantheon, representing the union of the earth and the sky. Dragons also occupy significant roles in the mythologies of other cultures. The Nordic cultures speak of immense serpents such as Jormungandr, the sea serpent that encircles the world. In India, Nagas are divine serpentine beings that live in the underworld and guard vast treasures. This astounding global presence of dragons in human mythology, despite vast cultural differences, makes us ponder. How did these diverse cultures, separated by time and distance, come to share a collective vision of a creature that doesn't exist in the biological world? Could the dragon, in its many forms, be the manifestation of a primal, universal symbol etched deep within the human psyche? Across the diverse tapestry of cultures, dragons manifest themselves in an array of forms and characterizations, their physical and symbolic attributes shaped by the stories that birthed them. Perhaps the most familiar to many of us are the European dragons. Steeped in medieval lore, these creatures are typically characterized as four-legged winged beasts with the ability to breathe fire. Their imposing bodies are often covered in scales harder than any armor, their eyes are fiery red, their roars enough to make the bravest knight shudder. These dragons are often malevolent and destructive, symbolic of a chaotic force that needs to be overcome, a symbol often associated with Satan or evil in Christian interpretation. As we cross the boundary from the west to the east, the depiction of dragons undergoes a dramatic transformation. Eastern dragons, particularly in Chinese mythology, are serpentine, elongated creatures, often seen without wings, yet capable of flight. They bear a resemblance to a conglomerate of animals, with the body of a snake, the scales of a fish, the eyes of a rabbit, the antlers of a deer, and the claws of an eagle. Unlike their Western counterparts, these dragons are not malevolent beasts, but revered symbols of power, wisdom, and prosperity. Their benevolence and divinity celebrated. In Mesoamerican cultures, we encounter a fusion of bird and serpent in the figure of Quetzalcoatl, the feathered serpent. This deity, central to the mythologies of the Aztecs, Toltecs, and other pre-Columbian cultures, is often depicted as a combination of a quetzal bird and a rattlesnake, representing the harmony of terrestrial and celestial realms. Venturing to the Nordic lands, we encounter dragons or serpents of immense size. The Jormungandr, or the Midgard serpent, is described as so large that it can encircle the world and grasp its own tail. India's Nagas are typically envisioned as great snakes or as human-snake hybrids, their forms varying from protective deities to dangerous powers to be propitiated. The depiction of dragons, it seems, is a mirror reflecting the cultural, geographical, and historical context of each civilization. They are embodiments of the elements, shaped by local fauna, reflecting societal norms, values, and fears. Their universal presence, despite such diverse portrayals, suggests an attempt by early humans to personify natural forces, to make sense of their world, or to symbolize life's trials and tribulations. These varying dragon forms may also be a testament to our ancestors' interactions with now extinct megafauna, their exaggerated characteristics being the product of whispers passed down through generations. Across centuries, through countless civilizations, dragons have left their indelible mark, not only in lore and legend, but also in the realm of physical artifacts. Various objects, from ornate sculptures and wall reliefs to weapons and utensils, are adorned with dragon iconography, revealing the significant cultural impact these creatures have had. In ancient China, dragon motifs were a common feature in art and architecture, their forms winding across imperial robes, sculptures, paintings, and even on the structures of the Forbidden City, symbolizing imperial power and celestial authority. Pottery from the Hongshan culture dating back to 2700 BC depicts the earliest known dragon forms in China, underscoring their long-standing cultural significance. Europe, particularly during the medieval period, saw a proliferation of dragon representations. St. George and the dragon, a staple in Christian iconography, is a prevalent motif in art and heraldry. Images of the saint slaying the dragon were immortalized in stained glass windows, paintings, sculptures, and even in the design of coins, providing a vivid testament to the symbolic power of dragons in European culture. In Mesoamerica, artifacts bearing the visage of Quetzalcoatl, the feathered serpent, abound. Stone sculptures, wall reliefs, and pottery from various Mesoamerican civilizations offer detailed depictions of this revered deity, often associated with the wind, the morning star, and knowledge. Similarly, in Norse culture, dragon-headed Drakkar ships were a formidable sight. These Viking longships, their prows adorned with intricate dragon heads, were not just functional seafaring vessels, but also potent symbols of power and fear, designed to ward off evil spirits. Turning from the realms of art and myth to that of science, we find compelling theories that seek to explain the ubiquitous presence of dragons in human culture. Many scientists and historians suggest that dragons are a symbol of the unknown and the dangerous, manifestations of humanity's universal fear of the predatory beasts that once shared their world. One theory is that early human encounters with predatory animals sparked the creation of dragons. For instance, encounters with large snakes could have led to stories of serpentine dragons, while the discovery of dinosaur fossils may have inspired myths about gigantic, monstrous creatures. Other theories posit that dragons are an amalgamation of humanity's instinctual fears. The psychologist Carl Jung suggested that dragons are part of our collective unconscious, universal symbols that embody deep-rooted anxieties. He believed that snakes and birds of prey were among the earliest predators of humans, and that the dragon is a combination of these creatures, representing the ultimate predatory threat. Another fascinating explanation points to the discovery of dinosaur fossils or the bones of large megafauna like whales. Unaware of the concept of extinction, ancient peoples may have interpreted these findings as evidence of monstrous creatures roaming in unexplored territories or lurking beneath the sea. Over time, tales of these creatures could have morphed into legends of dragons, perpetuated and embellished through oral tradition. Ultimately, science provides various lenses through which to view the phenomenon of dragons, each offering intriguing insights. Whether dragons are an embodiment of primordial fears or imaginative interpretations of natural discoveries, their enduring presence in human culture is a testament to our inherent desire to understand and give shape to the unknown. Yet, despite the persistent presence of dragons in human mythology, the fossil record remains silent on their existence. This lack of tangible evidence raises compelling questions. Are dragons merely symbolic, a fantastical manifestation of humanity's primal fears, or could they have been inspired by actual yet unidentified prehistoric creatures? Part of the reason we've never found a dragon fossil could be our modern interpretation of what constitutes a dragon. Across cultures, dragons are often chimeras, amalgamating attributes of various animals: serpentine bodies, avian wings, leonine claws, creatures spanning different epochs and evolutionary branches. The likelihood of such a creature existing as we imagine it is slim. Furthermore, the process of fossilization requires specific conditions. Many factors, including the creature's environment and the geological events post-mortem, influence the likelihood of fossilization. It's entirely plausible that the creatures inspiring dragon myths did exist, but didn't fossilize due to their body's nature or the circumstances of their demise. So, in our quest to comprehend the past, we must acknowledge that the fossil record, though remarkably detailed, contains gaps. Unfossilized creatures, unyielding environments, and undiscovered fossils all contribute to this incomplete picture of our prehistoric past. The enduring allure of dragons may not lie in their literal existence, but in our ancestors' attempts to interpret the natural world through their beliefs, knowledge, and imagination. They could symbolize unknown creatures lurking beyond the campfire light, or explain the inexplicable remnants of a time when real monsters roamed the earth. Whether real or symbolic, dragons continue to fascinate us, encapsulating our enduring desire to decipher the world around us and the mysteries it holds. As we conclude our journey in pursuit of the dragon, we realize that these mythical creatures embody our quest to understand the world around us, to explain the unexplainable, and to give form to our fears. Through the dragon's tail, we see a reflection of our own story, our struggles, triumphs, fears, and aspirations. Thank you for joining us on this fascinating journey through the annals of dragon mythology. As we continue to explore the world's mysteries and venture further into terra incognita, remember that every ending is a new beginning. Stay curious, stay inspired, and always be ready to challenge what you know.